Latest news and prophecy. Cameron says the EU is not working. March 15, 2014. David Cameron says the EU is not working and we will change it. Only the Conservatives will give voters a real choice over Britain's future in Europe, says Prime Minister David Cameron. Britain will fix the EU or leave. Photo, EPA. By David Cameron. 9 p.m. GMT, March 15, 2014. The British people now have a very clear choice. If you want a referendum on whether Britain should stay in the EU or leave, only the Conservative Party will guarantee to hold one. If I am Prime Minister after the election, I will negotiate a new settlement for Britain in Europe, and then ask the British people, do you wish to stay in the EU on this basis, or leave? I will hold that referendum before the end of 2017, and respect the decision. A year ago, in a speech at Bloomberg, I set out my plan to reform the European Union and change Britain's relationship with it. Britain is not alone in our view that change is needed. No one has argued harder than Angela Merkel that the European Union needs to reform if it is to compete in the modern world. My Dutch counterpart has coined the phrase Europe if necessary, national when possible. We share a view that the status quo is not working, and we intend to change it. I completely understand and share people's concerns about the European Union. Our businesses value the single market. But they find the degree of European interference in our everyday life excessive. People are worried that Britain is being sucked into a United States of Europe. That may be what some others want, but it is not for us. They see decisions being taken far away, rather than by their elected representatives in Parliament. And they worry that European rules have allowed people to claim benefits without ever working here. As a result, democratic consent for Britain's membership has worn wafer thin. And although it would not be a very smart negotiating tactic to lay all Britain's cards on the table at the outset, I know people want more detail about the specific changes we will seek. So I can confirm today that tackling these concerns will be at the heart of our approach. Let me set out some of the key ones. Powers flowing away from Brussels, not always to it. National parliaments able to work together to block unwanted European legislation. Businesses liberated from red tape and benefiting from the strength of the EU's own market, the biggest and wealthiest on the planet, to open up greater free trade with North America and Asia. Our police forces and justice systems able to protect British citizens, unencumbered by unnecessary interference from the European institutions, including the ECHR. Free movement to take up work, not free benefits. Support for the continued enlargement of the EU to new members, but with new mechanisms in place to prevent vast migrations across the continent. And dealing properly with the concept of ever closer union, enshrined in the treaty, to which every EU country now has to sign up. It may appeal to some countries. But it is not right for Britain, and we must ensure we are no longer subject to it. So, yes to the single market. Yes to turbocharging free trade. Yes to working together where we are stronger together than alone, as we are doing right now on Ukraine. Yes to a family of nations, all part of a European Union but whose interests are guaranteed, inside the euro or out. No to ever closer union. No to a constant flow of power to Brussels. No to unnecessary interference. And no, it goes without saying, to the euro, to participation in Eurozone bailouts or notions such as a European army. This is an ambitious agenda for a new European Union. Delivering it will take time and patience, as well as strong relationships with our key allies and goodwill, not shouting from the sidelines. It will require a negotiation with our European partners. Some changes will best be achieved by alterations to the European treaties, others can be achieved by different means. But when we achieve it, we will have transformed the European Union and Britain's relationship with it. I would then campaign for Britain to remain in this reformed EU in 2017. Despite what British politicians may think or want, the EU will move closer and closer together until they are a single entity ruled largely by Germany, who is Magog in Ezekiel 38, and with the Roman Catholic Church at its center. At this time Russia also will play a larger part in leadership but will not be a member of the EU. Ezekiel 38 says that Russia will be a guard unto Europe, so we should watch this development, as this is a clear sign of the nearness of Christ's return.